There is a quiet power in being absent, not because you're avoiding others, but because you finally stopped avoiding yourself. The world doesn't reward the always available. It drains them. But the day you pull back your energy is the day everything begins to shift, because absence isn't weakness, it's gravity. Most people never realize this. The world doesn't truly reward your constant availability. It uses you, exploits you, and keeps you useful but never respected. And as long as you're always around, always answering, always giving, you'll be treated like an option, never a priority. But something changes the moment you start pulling your energy back. The moment you stop handing out your time like free candy. That's the moment when your world begins to realign. Because absence isn't weakness, it's gravitational power. And once you understand that, the world starts orbiting you. Point 1. The trap of constant availability. You've been conditioned to believe, if I'm always available, I'll be valuable. That if you respond quickly, show up often, and say yes to everyone, you'll be seen as reliable, kind, strong. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Marcus Aurelius didn't write in his journal to impress people. Epictetus didn't speak to be liked. They didn't serve out of weakness, they served with discipline, boundaries, and presence. When you're always available, you lose your edge. You become predictable. Your time becomes taken for granted because it's always up for grabs. But when you learn to withhold, to intentionally choose where your time flows, you send a bold message: my energy is earned, not assumed. This isn't arrogance, it's inner order. It's the architecture of respect. 2. The respect that absence builds. Stoicism isn't about being distant, it's about being deliberate. When you become less available, people begin to recognize the true weight of your presence. Your words hit harder. Your silence speaks louder. Your time becomes sacred. Why? Because in a world of oversharing, over-explaining, and overextending, stillness becomes status. When you pull back, you create space for curiosity. When you're no longer instantly reachable, people reflect on what you last said. They don't just hear your words, they feel their weight. And the weight of a person who values silence cannot be ignored. Epictetus once said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." When you're always available, people assume they already know you. But when you're scarce, they listen, they learn, they respect. 3. Emotional control through scarcity. Being less available isn't just about time. It's about emotional control. If every text pulls your focus, every call breaks your rhythm, every drama stirs your emotions, then you're not leading your life, you're reacting to it. You saw what happens when you pull your energy back. You become sharper, respected, and in control. But to sustain that state, you must learn one essential truth. Either you own your mind or someone else does. Stoicism teaches us you either master your mind or someone else will. When you learn to pull back with intention, you begin to regain control. Not control over others, but over yourself. You become the observer. You no longer rush to please. You stop bending just to be liked. You begin to pause before reacting, to choose when to speak and when to remain silent, to respond based on principle, not pressure. And that pause, that mastery of self, is the rarest currency in a chaotic world. When you master it, you begin to influence others without raising your voice. Your presence speaks for itself when it aligns with your values. 4. How detachment creates focus. When you're no longer available to everything, you become radically available to what truly matters: your goals, your discipline, your inner world. Imagine how your life would look if you stopped giving away your mornings to mindless scrolling, stopped replying to messages out of guilt, stopped explaining yourself to people who never cared to understand you. You'd become unrecognizable in the best possible way. Stoicism is the art of subtraction. Remove the unnecessary so the essential can rise. When you cut off distractions, you create space, and in that space, clarity walks in. You'll realize you were never overwhelmed because life was too hard. You were overwhelmed because you were too available to the wrong things. 5. The fear of losing people versus losing yourself. Some people will be offended when you pull back. Let them, because the truth is they were never attached to you. They were attached to your availability, your free energy, your constant willingness to bend. Let them go. Because the cost of constant availability is subtle but devastating. You start to lose your center. You become everything for everyone except yourself. You betray your stillness, your growth, your boundaries, and your power. And here's the paradox. When you stop fearing the loss of others, they begin to fear the loss of you. Not because you're playing games, but because you finally realize your value doesn't come from attention, it comes from alignment. From living by principle, not pressure. From giving with purpose, not on demand. 6. Rebuilding with intention. Comes the real challenge. Don't isolate out of bitterness. Rebuild your life with intention. Stoicism doesn't teach us to cut off the world. It teaches us to detach without disconnecting. It's about being selective, not shutting everyone out. Be intentional with your actions, your presence, and your time. Because every time you say yes, you're not just agreeing, you're declaring what your life stands for. We talked about rebuilding your life with purpose, choosing where you show up and what you give. But intentional living isn't just about who or what you say yes to. It's about learning not to live on autopilot. You weren't born to live reactively. Don't let habits, pressure, or expectations steer your life. Let your actions be deliberate. This begins with one powerful skill: learning to say no to things that don't align with your values. Saying no isn't unkind. It's protecting your energy and your focus. Take time for yourself without needing to explain. Go on walks without sharing them. Take breaks without guilt. Be present in your own life in silence without distraction. These small acts of discipline may seem minor, but they reinforce your internal boundaries. When you live with intention, people stop taking you for granted. They realize that your time matters, and as they begin to respect your limits, they start to respect you. The more you embrace this mindset, the more your energy flows exactly where it's needed toward the people and things that truly deserve it. The Stoics were never afraid of solitude. They feared distraction. They feared misalignment. They feared being disconnected from themselves. So stop being available to everything. Only then will you become truly available to what matters most. When you stop letting the world pull you in every direction, you'll finally be able to focus on what gives your life meaning. This isn't about isolation, it's about intention. It's about showing up for the things that build you, challenge you, and lead you toward growth. Because the moment you reclaim your time, you reclaim your life. And in that moment, you find freedom. Freedom to choose where you invest. Freedom to decide who you become. Freedom to live by your values. And that is real power, Stoic power.